Hey y'all, welcome as we continue through the book of Psalm together. Today we're going to be reading Psalm 44. This psalm, again written by the descendants of Korah, opens with praise, details the problem at hand, and concludes in petition to the Lord for rescue. This psalm was sung to the Lord after a humiliating defeat. The four stanzas of this psalm reveal four attitudes on the part of the people: boasting in God, feeling forsaken by God, remaining faithful to God, and trusting in God. We'll go ahead and start in verse 1 of 44. O God, we have heard it with our own ears. Our ancestors have told us all that you did in their day, in days long ago. You drove out the pagan nations by your power and gave all the land to our ancestors. You crushed their enemies and set our ancestors free. They did not conquer the land with their swords. It was not their own strong arm that gave them the victory. It was your right hand and strong arm and the blinding light from your face that helped them, for you loved them. You are my King and my God. You command victories for Israel. Only by your power can we push back our enemies. Only in your name can we trample our foes. I do not trust in my bow. I do not count on my sword to save me. You are the one who gives us victory over our enemies. You disgrace those who hate us. O God, we give glory to you all day long and constantly praise your name. The author opens by praising the Lord, boasting in his great and glorious name, and pouring out gratitude for all he has done. He glorified God for all that he did to defeat the enemy nations and enable Israel to claim their inheritance. God had rooted out the godless nations, planted Israel in the land, and enabled the nation to take root and grow. All of this was done not because Israel deserved it, but because of God's love and grace. God's power brings forth victory. Jehovah is our King, and the psalmist affirms that fact. The writer wants no glory for themselves. He wants the Lord to receive all glory and honor. We'll go ahead and continue in verse 9. But now you have tossed us aside in dishonor. You no longer lead our armies to battle. You make us retreat from our enemies and allow those who hate us to plunder our land. You have butchered us like sheep and scattered us among the nations. You sold your precious people for a pittance, making nothing on the sale. You let our neighbors mock us. We are an object of scorn and derision to those around us. You have made us the butt of their jokes. They shake their heads at us in scorn. We can't escape the constant humiliation. Shame is written across our faces. All we hear are the taunts of our mockers. All we see are our vengeful enemies. The author pours out the problem that they are walking through. He felt forsaken by God. If God gave them the land and his grace and enabled them to defeat their enemies, why was he not helping them now? The people were perplexed. Why was the Lord allowing the idolatrous nation to win these victories? Israel was God's precious flock, but he was permitting them to be slaughtered by the enemy in this season, and they wondered why. It was a dark day for the people of God, and they couldn't understand what the Lord was doing. However, humiliation and shame brought the people of the nation to a place of surrender and intercession. The Lord always brings us to our best if we are willing to surrender and trust him for every single outcome of every single circumstance. And we'll continue in verse 17. All of this has happened, though we have not forgotten you. We have not violated your covenant. Our hearts have not deserted you. We have not strayed from your path. Yet you have crushed us in the jackal's desert's home. You have covered us with darkness and death. If we had forgotten the name of our God or spread our hands in prayer to foreign gods, God would surely have known it, for he knows the secrets of every heart. But for your sake, we are killed every day. We are being slaughtered like sheep. Whenever there was trouble in Israel, the first explanation was usually someone has sinned. However, as far as the psalmist knew, there was no sin to be confessed because the people had been faithful to the Lord. God could search their minds and hearts and motives and intentions and not find a breach of any part of the covenant. They were faithful to God and they had not turned to idols for help, and now they were giving their lives to protect the land that he had so graciously given them. Paul quoted verse 11 in Romans 8:36 as part of his argument that nothing can separate people from God's love, not even defeat after a record of victories. The principle remains true for God's children in the Old Covenant as well as the New Covenant. Those who surrender their lives to Jesus are conquerors, not victims, and God can be glorified even in what feels like the midst of defeat. Israel's defeat didn't mean that God loved them any less. It meant that he was permitting this to happen so that he could carry out a purpose only known to him. Much like when Stephen was martyred in Acts 6 through 8, causing the gospel to scatter and spread further, Israel's defeat actually gave their enemies further opportunity to come to know the Lord. And nothing matters more than that. And we'll continue in verse 23. Wake up, O Lord. Why do you sleep? Get up. Do not reject us forever. Why do you look the other way? Why do you ignore our suffering and oppression? We collapse in the dust, lying face down in the dirt. Rise up and help us. Ransom us because of your unfailing love. This psalm ends with a petition to the Lord for help. In verse 23, the name Adonai is used, and this name declares that the Lord is owner and master of all, including the nations of the world. The writer came to a place where he knew he could simply trust God and let him handle the situation, let him handle every outcome. And he ultimately turned the whole matter to the Lord for victory and for his great glory. He knew that no matter what happened, he could trust the Lord with the outcome. We can't always explain tragedies that come in life. We can't explain the suffering, the pain, the hardships. But Romans 8:28 is a promise from the throne of God, and God is still on the throne. He created us, he loves us, and he loves us with never-ending, unfailing love, and he is the master of all. He will turn what the enemy meant for evil for good. He has set us in our time and place, and he will complete what he has started within us if we're willing to trust him. He sees from the top down and all around, and he knows what's best for our eternal good and the eternal good of those around us. He doesn't want to lose a single soul, and nothing matters more than pointing people to Jesus. He will carry us through every single storm, and every storm is an opportunity for testimony if we are willing to cling to Jesus with all of our guts and trust him wholeheartedly with every single outcome. Thanks, y'all. I hope you're having a glorious day in the Lord.